Hello, and welcome to this demo video about Infinity CodeOne, the sci-fi skirmish game by Corvus Belli. In this video, we will see a demo battle, a mission that will pit the armies of Ariadna against the Nomads. For this game, we are using the miniatures that come in the Operation Crimson Stone Battle Pack. Let's explain some Infinity CodeOne basic concepts. In CodeOne, every single miniature provides one of these green tokens. We call these regular orders, and they are spent to perform actions during the battle. A player spends their orders during their turn. These orders allow them to activate a miniature and perform two simple actions like to move and move again, to move and shoot, to move and dodge, or to move and attack in close combat. Regular orders can be spent on each miniature in your army as you decide during your active turn. Your turn ends when you run out of these green tokens. Your rival's turn will then begin. How can you stop the other player from eliminating your forces? The answer is the ARO, Automatic Reaction Order. Every single miniature from your army can react by shooting or dodging to every regular order spent by the active miniature, as long as they have line of sight to it. So, when an enemy miniature attacks your army, you can respond to it. Shall we test this on the battlefield? Let's go! Now it's time to behold a CodeOne game. The skirmish takes place in a Nomad space facility, the Hlok Station. We are going to play Mission 5, Detonator, securing the loading docks. Some Cosmofloat units break into the station trying to control the central module. There is also one unexpected situation. Wolfgang Amadeus Wolf, Wolver Bounty Hunter, is on top of the building and has gone full berserker, becoming a hostile enemy for everyone. It is up to the Nomad units to stop this madness and take back control. Nomads have the initiative. They will have the first turn. 7 miniatures provide 7 regular orders. Spending his own regular order, the Hellcat descends into the battlefield, succeeding at a PH roll. Enemies have no line of sight to her, so no AROs are declared. Now, spending a new regular order, the Hellcat performs a movement short skill. No AROs are declared, and now she targets this Rokot figure as the objective for a BS attack. This would be a normal roll. Normal roll. The figure that performs the action has to roll equal to or under the attribute that it is using. This time it is ballistic skill. Her value is 12, so in order to hit, she must roll 12 or lower. The burst of her boarding shotgun is 2, so she would roll 2 dice. 9 and 18. One is a hit, the other is a miss. The objective will now have to perform 1 saving roll. The Rokot has an armor value of 1. The damage of the weapon is 14, so his roll must be higher than 14 in order to overcome the impact. 17 plus the 1 of his armor attribute is 18, and enough to survive the attack. A new regular order is spent. The Hellcat decides to move again. This time her movement exposes her to the line of sight of the Rokot. She is now in his 180-degree frontal line of sight arc. The Ariadna unit declares a BS attack here as his ARO. The Hellcat also declares a BS attack. We now have a face-to-face roll. When 2 or more troopers have opposing intentions, both players participate in a face-to-face roll. Each player rolls dice and compares the result to their trooper's success value and to the opponent's results. The unit with the highest result that did not go over its success value wins the face-to-face roll and cancels the opponent's attempt. This Hellcat has the initiative, so she will shoot the whole burst of her boarding shotgun, 2 dice. This Rokot is the reactive figure, so he will shoot just 1 die, because he is reacting. All dice are successful, but since this is a face-to-face roll, when comparing results, successes cancel enemy successes with a lower die result. The Rokot's 7 cancels the Hellcat's 2, but the Hellcat's 10 also cancel the Rokot's 7. There is just 1 successful shot. The Rokot must now make another saving roll. 3 plus 1 isn't enough to overcome the damage 14 of the attack. Therefore, the Rokot suffers 1 wound and falls unconscious. A new regular order is spent, and now a different unit is activated. The Evader with Spitfire moves and obtains line of fire with the dangerous Wolver. The Berserker Mercenary declares a BS attack, but there is also another unit that decides to declare an ARO. The Volkolak Shock Trooper now has line of fire, and his heavy machine gun might have something to say about it. This is a good moment to talk about range. Weapons feature different range bands that apply modifiers to the skill of the unit depending on how far away the target is. Optimal range for a rifle usually grants a +3 to the BS attribute of the soldier. Here we have the Volkolak, and at this distance he will have a range modifier of +3. His burst is just 1 die, but he will roll for 15 or less. The evader with his Spitfire will suffer a modifier of -3 against the Volkolak, so his ballistic skill of 13 is reduced to 10. The Nomad soldier decides to focus on the Ariadna enemy and unleashes his whole burst on him. The Volkolak achieves a successful hit on the evader. The evader must perform a saving roll. With an arm attribute of 3 and a roll of 13, the Nomad soldier overcomes the damage 15 of the HMG. Wolf's shot was a miss. Spending a new regular order, the Nomad player moves a camo marker in contact with the edge of the building. An infiltrated Rokot with a submachine gun declares Discover as an ARO. Other hidden Ariadna units decide to delay their ARO declarations. Nothing else is declared by the Nomads. A normal Discover roll is executed. The Rokot succeeds at discovering the Nomad intruder with HMG. The marker is removed and replaced with the figure. A new regular order is spent. The intruder with HMG now declares idle. A storm of AROs is unleashed. Reaction shot from the Wolver, a reaction shot by the Rokot, and a reaction shot by the now revealed Zenit 7 detachment. The intruder spreads his burst with his second skill, and now is a good moment to talk about cover. Cover. The target of a BS attack is in partial cover when it is in base-to-base contact with a piece of scenery that partly blocks the line of fire from the attacker. Troopers in partial cover impose a -3 modifier to the BS attribute of their attacker and a -3 modifier to the attack's damage value for the saving roll. In this situation, the intruder has partial cover against his enemies, and so do the Zenit 7 and the Rokot. The Wolver has no partial cover. His base is not in contact with any wall or obstacle. The intruder suffers a successful hit by the Zenit 7 AP sniper rifle, and he must perform a saving roll. His arm 3 is now a 2 because of the armor-piercing round of the rifle, but his partial cover bonus gives a -3 to the damage 15 of the weapon, so a roll of 11 or above will save him. The intruder survives. The Rokot rolls below the damage of the HMG despite her partial cover bonus, so she falls unconscious. Wolfgang Amadeus Wolf rolls his saving rolls and fails both of them, so his uplifting presence is now over. With his last regular order, the Nomad player activates the Hellcat. She moves until obtaining a close line of fire with the Zenit 7. It is a face-to-face roll and both units have cover, but the Zenit also has mimetism. Any BS attack or discover skill declared against a trooper with mimetism must apply the negative modifier, usually a -3. So, both units are using shotguns at close range. Their range bonus is +6. Their BS attributes go from 12 to 18. Both units have cover, and that modifier is a -3. Their BS attributes go from 18 to 15. And the Zenit has mimetism. That makes the BS attribute of the Hellcat become a 12 again. They roll the dice. The Zenit has suffered a critical hit. She must now perform 2 saving rolls. The Zenit rolls and fails at both saving attempts. She is now considered dead. The player decides not to spend his lieutenant order. This is the end of the Nomad's turn. Ariadna begins their first turn with 3 active units on the board, plus 1 paracommando awaiting to be deployed onto the field. So that means they have 3 regular orders, plus 1 lieutenant order, and the paracommando's order that will allow him to enter the battlefield. Spending his lieutenant order, the Ariadna player activates the Rokot with rifle as his lieutenant and moves her up to this spot with line of sight to the Hellcat. The Hellcat declares a reaction shot. The Rokot uses her rifle for a BS attack. The Hellcat receives several impacts, and she fails her saving rolls. The Nomad paratrooper dies. A regular order is now spent to activate the Volkolak Shock Trooper. The evader with Spitfire declares a dodge reaction. The Volkolak shoots his HMG. The evader succeeds at his dodge maneuver and reaches total cover. Spending another regular order, the Volkolak performs a new movement skill. A camo marker on the rooftop of the building has line of fire with the Wolver, but decides not to react. The Volkolak moves again. With the last available regular order, the Wolver reaches line of fire with the intruder. The Nomad infantry declares a reaction shot. The Ariadna attacker uses his heavy machine gun. At this range, with their HMGs, both soldiers have no bonus to their ballistic skill. Both units have partial cover, so they are both suffering a -3 to their BS attribute. The intruder has mimetism -3, so that makes the Volkolak BS value drop down to a 6. Dice are rolled. The intruder suffers 2 impacts. It fails one of its saving rolls, so he falls unconscious. With his own regular order, the paratrooper enters the battlefield right at this secure spot, with no enemies in sight thanks to the Volkolak and his HMG. The Nomads have the initiative now. They have 5 regular orders plus 1 lieutenant order. The first miniature to be activated will be this Alguacil. A regular order is spent, and he moves to obtain line of fire with the Paracommando. Shots are fired, dice are rolled. The Alguacil suffers 1 devastating critical hit from the Paracommando's boarding shotgun, and he is removed from the battlefield. Spending a new regular order, another Alguacil moves up to the top of this building. The Volkolak reacts with his HMG. The Alguacil declares his BS attack. The Alguacil receives an impact, fails at his saving roll, and falls unconscious. The next figure to be activated is the Evader. Spending a regular order, he moves and obtains line of fire against the Ariadnan camo marker over the central module. No AROs are declared. The Evader rolls for Discover. The Evader succeeds at his Discover roll, and an Ariadnan SAS is now revealed on top of the building. The Evader spends a new regular order and shoots at the SAS. The SAS succeeds at her dodge roll and moves, losing line of fire with the Evader. The next figure to be activated is the Sombras. Spending a regular order, it reveals herself to shoot her multi-rifle with a surprise attack against the SAS. The SAS tries to respond with her shotgun. Dice are rolled. The SAS suffers several impacts, fails 1 saving roll, and falls unconscious. With her lieutenant order, the Alguacil moves and obtains line of fire with the Paracommando. The Ariadna unit declares a reaction shot with its reliable boarding shotgun. The Alguacil declares BS attack. This time it is the Paracommando who falls under enemy fire. With just 2 regular orders and a lieutenant order, the Ariadnans must conquer the top of the central module if they want to succeed. A regular order is spent on the Volkolak, who moves up to the top of the building. The Sombras welcomes him with a shotgun blast. The Volkolak decides to dodge. The Volkolak succeeds and reaches the top of the building. He places himself so the Evader's line of fire is obscured by the Sombras. The last regular order is spent by the Volkolak in a movement towards the Sombras. A shotgun blast is her reaction. The Volkolak engages in close combat. The Sombras suffers a wound and falls unconscious. With her lieutenant order, Rokut with a rifle exposes herself and declares a BS attack at the Evader. They both exchange shots. All successes are cancelled. With just 2 units on the ground, the Nomads face the final turn with just 2 regular orders and the lieutenant order. With her lieutenant order, the Alguacil reaches line of fire and tries to beat the Volkolak. The Volkolak suffers 1 wound. Spending a regular order, the Evader unleashes his full burst on the Volkolak. Shots are fired. The Wolver succeeds with his saving rolls. He laughs in pure joy. The last regular order of the Nomads could allow the Evader to use his climbing plus skill to reach the top of the building, but the Ariadna units could stop this with their reaction shots. Which army will achieve victory in this situation? You decide! Get your copy of the Operation Crimson Stone Battle Pack and play Infinity CodeOne now. There are soldiers in powered armor, deadly masters of ambush and infiltration, elite snipers, and paratroopers waiting to jump in on this scenario. Now here's your chance to unleash the ultimate sci-fi skirmish battle. Keep connected.